Ladies and gentlemen, the planning team for the faculty staff seminar decided that we needed to hear from our Fringe benefits package. So this afternoon, we will receive a presentation on retirement planning from Ms. Dawn Stoffel, financial consultant of TIAA Craft. She will be followed by human resources updates, Mrs. Gladys Benford, Director of Administrative Services and Human Resources, and benefit updates from Ms. Cynthia Anderson, Program Manager of Human Resources. We ask that you would please give them your attention at this time, and please welcome our first presenter, Ms. Dawn Stoffel.
Thank you. I feel like it's going to be really difficult to follow people who have been working here for 20 years in that beautiful musical arrangement as well. So this isn't going to be nearly as entertaining, I'm afraid. But I'll try and keep you awake. I was warned that I am the speaker after lunch. And since I don't sing and it's not going to be entertaining, we're going to just try and stay awake through the whole thing, okay? Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Dawn Stoffel. This is my first trip to the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. I have been with TIAA now for about 7 years as a financial consultant. I spend most of my days meeting with individuals like you now all over the state of Arkansas. Before I came to Arkansas last year, I worked in the state of Texas, which is where I grew up. So I am pleased to be here and excited to be here, and I have really felt the warmth just being in the room with you guys this afternoon and feeling the spirit of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and I am honored to be with you. Cynthia Anderson asked me to address the group, and we have presentations that we give that are generally geared towards financial education, and I do those regularly at this time of the year and at these types of events. Most of the time we're spending our time focusing on all the new faculty. So it's interesting to me to follow up after we're awarding 20 years of service. Today's event, as what Cynthia has asked me to do, is simply remind you a little bit and sort of be the voice in a very brief presentation from TIAA. So we're going to remind you who we are. Many of you have accounts with TIAA. We were chosen as one of your providers through the University of Arkansas because of our strength, stability, and unique offering. We focus on higher education and professionals just like you all across the United States. We are a not-for-profit organization geared towards assisting teachers, faculty, and medical professionals across the United States. We have 3.7 million members, work with over 15,000 institutions, and it is a service that I get to provide and enjoy doing. Now, as many of you know, we're spending, as I said, most of our time talking to new faculty about the choices. So those that are coming in for the first semester are having to make the choice between Arkansas Public Employees System or the optional retirement plan. Many of you in the room will also participate in the Arkansas Teachers Retirement System. We're going to focus on what the optional retirement plan is, what's available, and the enrollment choice that many of you made a long time ago. And as I sit down and spend time with individuals every day, most people will put together their retirement choices at the moment they're hired, and many will spend years and never think about it again. So if you haven't thought about it lately, the optional retirement plan, for those of you that are participating not only through TIAA but possibly Fidelity, we offer the optional retirement plan as well as a supplemental plan. So if you've made the choice to be in the public pension plan through APERS or Arkansas Teachers Retirement System, you still can have a TIAA account and you can supplement your retirement savings through a supplemental plan. The optional retirement plan, as most of you are participating in that would have TIAA accounts, the university contributes 5% on your behalf, whether you choose to contribute towards your retirement plan or not. I can tell you with my experience and time, as I see many people not only starting their first jobs, first careers, and getting them started, which I enjoy a great deal, I also spend the majority of my time with those that are getting closer to the finish line and closer to retirement and thinking about what's going to lie beyond my career. And the ones that do it successfully have committed to retirement their whole lives. And many of them start to work on that. earlier on, but I also help people catch up that haven't thought about it in the past. 5% contribution is generous, but it's not nearly as generous as the 10% that is offered in total. If you are not taking advantage of a full 10% match that's offered by the University of Arkansas, they contribute 5% whether you contribute or not, but they will contribute as much as 10%. No one would leave behind or not take advantage of a 5% raise if it were offered. So for those of you who may not be contributing up to 10% through the optional retirement plan, you want to make sure that you do get to 10% as soon as you possibly can or work towards that goal. If you are a new employee, one of the other important pieces that's up on the slide that I think is important is to know that the vesting schedule, if you are new, or if you have not, are fairly new and have not contributed at least 5%, there is a different vesting schedule. If you contribute or match the dollars that they have contributed for you at 5%, then you will become immediately vested, which what that means is the dollars that the university has contributed for you will then be yours should you choose to move on somewhere else. Of course, we're not encouraging you to do that, but what that means is that the dollars do become yours much quicker. And so that's only a 6-month time frame as long as you're contributing 5% as well. If you do not contribute, it takes 3 years for the dollars to become vested that are being invested on your behalf. One of the benefits of the optional retirement plan also is to consider that there is a lot of flexibility on how you withdraw your funds and that the funds would be there for you. And that's one of the considerations that employees will make as they choose between the pension plan as well as the optional retirement plan. TICREF provides through your retirement plan, and I had sent in advance as part of your package, you'll find lists of the funds that are available through TICREF as well as some tools to help you plan the contributions and different contribution rates as well as to see the full line of mutual funds, annuity funds that are available through TICREF. We do have some of the industry's leading lowest expenses. What that means to you overall, and I encourage you to continue to attend additional seminars later because we have some examples, but essentially the lower the expenses are within your account compared to other options that you may have or that you may invest outside of your retirement plan, it means that you get to keep more of your money. I mean, that's the bottom line, is that overall and over your career, and if you're putting 20 years into a plan and 20 years into your retirement and 20 years being contributed, that can be a very nice nest egg, and you want every one of those pennies year in and year out to add up for your best benefit. And so that's an important piece of what we believe in at TICREF and what we're doing for you. So you want to consider that as you consider your investment choices. And if you haven't looked at what is available to you in a long time, for those of you that have been with UA Pine Bluff for a long time, the lineup has considerably changed from 5-7 years ago when I came on board at TICREF. Most plans had a total of 9 funds. Now you have about 37. So things have changed. It does change. I do encourage you to review where you're at. Not only will your goals, objectives, and financial picture change as your career changes, but the retirement plan changes along the way too. Some things, these are investment choices and options that you have that are unique to TICREF that I felt were important to just review quickly as well. The TIAA traditional annuity, this is our original fixed annuity. Current rates are at 3%. It's a guaranteed 3% rate of return. In the optional retirement plan, there are withdrawals upon restriction. It is not considered a liquid investment, meaning that if you try to withdraw the account, it will take you 10 years to withdraw it in full. It's designed to be a life income for you that lasts forever and paid out over a lifetime at retirement. It is something that's unique because finding 3% guaranteed and outside investment choices is very hard to find these days. It's always outperformed fixed income securities. So it can be, and it's a complete buffer against the risks of the stock market. And so many investors do love it, but you need to be aware of the withdrawal restrictions and provisions that are a part of the plan. Now, those of you who may contribute into the supplemental that is in addition to the pension Arkansas Teachers or APERS plan, then anything that goes into the supplemental, even in TIA traditional, is going to be liquid. It still earns 3%. So that's a fantastic option that you have, as well as for anybody else who is contributing 10% to the optional retirement plan can open up a supplemental and have the ability to have TIA traditional in a flexible account. The TIAA real estate account is also one of our unique investment options and opportunities that we have for you. We are one of the largest real estate investors in the nation. This account gives you as investors the ability to invest in direct investments, hard properties all across the US. This is large apartment complexes, retail spaces that we own, operate, and collect rents on and continue to buy and purchase. So it is a diversifier. It's an account that we've opened in the 70s to help you build diversification, and it does act differently than the stock markets or traditional bonds. The CREF Social Choice account is also a unique investment choice that you have within the lineup. It has been socially screened to exclude alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, and then there are pro screens to find companies that are particularly invested in their workforce, in their environment, and we have been a leader in this movement by launching this plan some time ago. It has been one of our flagships as well, and it is an important piece. So for those of you that feel that it's important that your dollars be invested where you feel they should be trusted and in companies that should be held accountable for their social and environmental standards, this is a fantastic option. One of the things that has changed is a life cycle fund. Now in the last 5 years, these have been launched. I'm not sure exactly when they were included in your lineup, but this is if as I said in the beginning, we believe that many people set up their retirement plan, think about it the day that they were hired in the midst of the chaos, put something down and went on with it, and honestly don't think about it again for quite some time, many times years. The Life Cycle Fund takes that into account. They've now become our default. The idea with these is that we set them based on what we consider to be your retirement age, but you can choose one on your own goal, but we would normally default you into something that's close to the age of 65. And then over time, we move that from being an aggressive portfolio to a more moderate portfolio as we believe to be appropriate for that timeline. These have become extremely popular. As I said, they are a fairly new option, and we're continuing to launch every few years a new life cycle fund for those that are younger and coming into the workforce. So now you can invest in a life cycle 2055, which makes me even feel a little old. And we have also a life cycle retirement income fund for those that are reaching retirement this year or in the very, very near future. So they go in 5-year increments, and what the slide is showing you here is essentially the stock exposure that you would see in a life cycle fund and how it changes over the lifetime of the investment itself. So what happens is you move from a 90% stock fund as an aggressive that's going to be in that 2055 to something that's going to be more of a 35 to 40% stock exposure as it's closer to the retirement years that are now. Many people like this option because TI-CREF is essentially managing it for you. It's designed to be a diversified portfolio. It is a fund of many mutual funds that underneath, so you're contributing to one fund instead of multiple funds. And it is designed for you to hand us the keys and let us worry about it with that goal in mind. If that isn't the way you want to do it, that you want to be a little more hands-on and be a little more involved in your asset investment strategy, we have also updated the tools that we have at TI-CREF for you to do that. There's so much more information online. We are constantly updating the website at tiaacref.org. If you have not created your own user ID and password, I recommend that you do that. You can create your own retirement calculator, get an idea of how on track or off track you have been. You know, I set it up, I did the 10%, they're doing 10%, and I started 10 years ago. I have no idea how close or how far away I am from my retirement goals. You can now put that information in online and start to get an idea of where you are. If you sign up for a counseling session, we'll see the background that you've done as well. So there are so many new tools, they're constantly being updated. We'll create an asset allocation for you. You can take a risk tolerance questionnaire that'll give you guidance of how aggressive or how conservative you actually are to the markets and how much you can tolerate, and then give you an idea of where you should be that you can compare to where you are right now. If you're looking at deferring or maximizing the tax deferrals, this is another question that I get quite often about, well, how much can I contribute? You can contribute more than the 10%. One of the myths is that I can only contribute 5%. I hear that a lot with this particular, with the University of Arkansas plans as a whole, is, oh, I'm doing 5%. And so many people won't even realize that they should be doing up to 10%. And then I have other people that think if I'm doing 10, I'm doing the most I possibly can, and that's not the case. It's going to be based on the maximums, then those also change with the IRS codes on an annual basis. So the current amount is $17,000 and was adjusted from $16,500 is the 403B limit, and then there's for those over the age of 50, there's a catch-up provision as well for another $5,000. We provide guidance to you at no additional cost. So when we were talking about keeping your costs and your expenses low, that is my full-time everyday job. That is what I do, and I'm not the only one. We've had, we try and maintain 2 consultants. We currently are searching for another consultant in the state of Arkansas, but we will have 2 consultants in the state of Arkansas visiting the campuses all over. And then we have staffs of registered representatives through our contact center that will sit with you, go through your goals, answer questions that you have. I was just hearing a lovely story actually today before I came up about somebody in our contact center that had done such a great job and spent 45 minutes on the phone answering questions for one of your colleagues. And I just cannot encourage you enough to sit down, and if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask it. I know you tell your students that over and over and over again, right? And I have people tell me all of the time, oh, you're gonna think that I don't, you're gonna think badly of me because I don't understand this or I don't understand that. You are all experts in your field, whether that's agriculture, education, health, so many different things. Let the experts in my field help you do a good job for you. And so at no additional cost, call us, use the tools, come and see us, do whatever you can, and take your retirement into your own hands to find the answers to those questions. If you are not a contributor at TIACREF, find the expert at APERS, find the expert at Arkansas Teachers Retirement System, go and use I use them in counseling sessions. Each one of those organizations offer estimators and calculators where you can put in your social security number, your years of service, and they will tell you what your retirement's gonna be, and you can do it, look at it at different ages and different times. Cannot encourage you enough to do that. And then if you see there's no way that's not gonna be enough between Social Security Administration, the APERS or Arkansas Teachers and TICREF, you need to start looking at what your future is and take control of your own life, because nobody's going to take care of you but you the way that you should. And that's my own little soapbox. But TICREF also offers, if you've never spoken to us beyond your retirement plan, we do offer life insurance, no-fee IRAs, Roth IRAs, brokerage services. We are a Fortune 100 financial services organization. So we do offer all sorts of things. So if you've never spoken to us about those things or have questions that you think are beyond your retirement plan, we'd be happy to help you with that as well. This just reiterates that we are growing with the new age. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us with your iPhone. You can find us online. I always say, like I said, I'm not entertaining. One of my favorite quotes is, information without action is entertainment. And I am not that entertaining. I know that I'm not. So I encourage you to write down the number, write down the website, and take action on what I've come here for today, whether that's scheduling an appointment or just reviewing your own information. If I encourage half of you to create your own login and password on the website this week, I would feel like I've accomplished something. Thank you.
On behalf of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, we would like to give you this token of appreciation for sharing information with us.
Thank you. Good afternoon again. I'm going to talk for a few minutes on some HR updates. Over the past 6-7 months, I'm sure you've gotten a lot of emails from me in campus bulletins. We've had some changes, and we try to communicate those changes to you. Some of these changes are very critical to the university as far as compliance. And that compliance is going to be our theme for this year. One of the first things that I want to talk about is employee disclosure. We have a new form. The procedures change. We have supervisors having to also sign these forms to verify that employees understand and understand what they are signing and the information that's contained therein. This change came about with the Department of Finance and Administration pursuant to Executive Order 98.04. And this form must be completed by the applicant, not the employee. Before, we had employees to sign the form after they came to our office, but now, during your interviewing process, keep in mind that this form is going to have to come up before you submit a personnel action form to put this employee on staff. So you have this, when you make the offer, also make sure that this employee, that this candidate, I have to say applicant, a candidate, complete this form. The candidate will complete the first page. The supervisor will complete the second page. And prior to, like I said, prior to the offer of employment, the hiring official's supervisor must ensure that applicant meets the specified requirements and that proper approval has been obtained. If this approval, it's going to come to my office, we'll have to look at it and approve. If we can't approve it because there's something on the form that says that you are a relative in the specified definition of relative as far as the state is concerned, we'll have to send that information along with the application and the whole package to the Office of Finance and Administration for approval. And the next thing I want to talk about is concurrent employment. And before I start talking about concurrent employment, I have an announcement to make concerning concurrent employment. We received some information and that I'm going to have to send out to everybody who have served on a concurrent appointment over the past 4 or 5 years, and after I leave here, I will be sending you emails for information for you to act on in the next day or so. Okay, concurrent employment. Any employee can work in with another state agency, another department, and this is called concurrent employment. It can be either extra help or a regular employee. And that is provided that the request has been approved by the Office of Personnel Management. Now we need for these forms to be submitted, this request to be submitted and approved by the Office of Personnel Management prior to you calling your employee to work on the concurrent appointment. And the work performed in the secondary appointment, which it will be the concurrent appointment, will not interfere with your regular appointment. Last year, we had said that we received information that employees could not take vacation and work concurrent appointment. This information has changed. Effective this year, it was reversed. So if you want to work in a concurrent appointment, you may take vacation now to work in that appointment. However, you cannot take sick leave. No employee can take sick leave and work in another because you're supposed to be sick. Okay. And another new item is on the overtime. If an employee in a classified position with a Fair Labor Standards Act status of non-exempt, and non-exempt meaning that that means that you can get overtime, time and a half in pay, or time and a half in comp time. That's non-exempt. I used to get confused on the exempt and the non-exempt, but non-exempt are those employees who are eligible and can be paid overtime or get time and a half of comp time. This change is for concurrent employment. If you, okay, this past year and beyond, before that, if you worked in a non-exempt position, in your regular position, then you worked in a non-exempt position in your concurrent position, you were able to get the time and a half regardless. If you worked over 40 hours. Now, time and a half, I have to come back up and say overtime, time and a half is 40 hours. Anything over 40 hours in a 40-hour work week. Your 40-hour work week will be from Sunday to Saturday. But now you may not automatically get that time and a half in your concurrent position if you are in a non-exempt position and your concurrent is a non-exempt position. The only way that you can get that time and a half pay or that time and a half, well, the time and a half pay, because most concurrents are time and a half pay. The only way that you can get that is your position. Both positions will have to be in the same job family. And when I say job family, I'm talking about the work performed, well, the Office of Personnel Management has on its website class codes. Those class codes show a letter in front of, each one of them has a letter. That letter denotes your class if you're in a certain family. For instance, a resident hall specialist has a class code of M075C, and it also has that N beside it. That N is the FLSA status, which means it's non-exempt and it is eligible for overtime or time and a half. The administrative specialist has a class code of C073C, and it also has the FLSA status. So that means these two positions have different job families. And I really believe that C in front of the administrative specialist for clerical. Those two positions, if we have a person working as a resident hall specialist, and they have a concurrent, somebody thinks that you're exceptional with clerical duties and you can do all this typing and you can do all those dynamic things clerically, and we would like to hire you after hours to do some work for us, you're in a different job family. You will not be able to get the time and a half pay for in your concurrent position. I hope you understand it. It is a lot to take at one time. The advertisement of positions. We do need to have a request to advertise that has been approved through budget, showing that money is there and the position has been approved. Most of the time we ask that you call our office if you're not sure if a position is available or not. So make sure that we get those requests to advertise prior to putting anything in the paper or on any website. Another email that you received this past spring was on extra help positions, extra help appointments. We like to hire people on extra help. That helps to get some of the duties and responsibilities that we need to get done. But no employee employed in the extra help status is to be called to work prior to the approval of the personnel action form. That creates a real problem, and we really would like for you to help us, and we help each other in making sure that employees are paid on time. And a lot of times we get timesheets prior to the appointment form, and it really frustrates employees, understandably. And I would just like for you to put yourself in their place. If we all put ourselves in the other's place, the person that gathered this problem, this person that needs some help, if we all put ourselves in that person's place, then we will better serve our community, our university community, and the community at large. Any person hired in the extra help position must meet the minimum qualifications for that position. And it must have a title that's authorized by the state. And we have a website, and I've sent information, that website linked to you. And a lot of you have really taken on to it. Dr. Walker, Jesse Walker, are you here? I really appreciate the way you get out there and navigate that website. But anyway, we have, in every extra help position, person must be in an extra help title. And that title, that person must meet the minimum qualifications for that title. The minimum qualifications are posted on the website, on the DFA website. It's on that link that I sent you. And extra help employees may not work more than 1,500 hours a fiscal year. Now, and I'm asking you to help us monitor those 1,500 hours. When you turn a timesheet in for an employee, you should have a total at the bottom of hours that person worked. If you would total that, add on to that each time you turn a timesheet, you will have the total that person has worked up to June 30th of next year. So help us, if you will, monitor those hours. And it is your responsibility as well as ours. We are monitoring, but we do need your help in order to do so. The rate of pay for extra help employees must be set at the entry level for the position or the position title or the position grade, unless we are able to get an approval for exceptionally well qualified entry rate. And to do that, we have to go to the Office of Personnel Management to do that request. And then we have to go before the legislature and justify that rate, then get approval. And okay, extra help, the Human Resources Department sends a payroll schedule for extra help timesheet at the beginning of the fiscal year to all extra help employees and to our departments. And we also have it posted on our website, and we ask that you use that so that you will know when the timesheets are due and can get them to us in a timely manner. Student employment, that's going to take me to student employment. I know this is a little longer presentation. I'm going to get out of your way in a few minutes. But I need to talk about the student employment. We're charged with developing a policy for student employment. And the university is glad to provide student work for our students because it helps them to get on-the-job training and be exposed to some things that they will be exposed to later in life. But the provisions of this policy is that students must be hired in a state-approved title, and the rate of pay should be that like as extra help. Student employees must meet minimum qualifications for any requirements. The hours of work, the maximum number of hours that a student can work during an academic school year when classes are in session is 20 hours per week. Graduate assistant may work a maximum of 30 hours per week. When classes are not in session, official holiday breaks in summer when not enrolled, students may be permitted to work 40 hours per week. Only hours worked above 40 hours a week in a work week by a non-exempt employee during holiday breaks in summer shall be paid at a rate of time and a half. A student may be employed in no more than 2 departments with 2 supervisors within the university at the same time. The student shall be responsible for informing the supervisors of a dual employment and assuming the maximum hour limitation is not exceeded. Students may not be employed in the same administrative unit as the family member having authority in the interest of the university to hire, transfer, suspend, lay off, recall, promote, discharge, assign, reward, or discipline other employees. And it's the same policy as our disclosure policy. But this last thing is to remind you about background checks. The university does background checks for a certain position, and you receive this email also during this past several months. And there are certain positions that are covered under background checks. And let me tell you, make sure that you allow time before you need this position filled, because once you make your selection, if this is a covered position under the background policy, we have to do the background check and allow time to get the results of that background check to us. And if there is a hit or if there is a problem, we have to have time to contact that individual and let them know. And they may submit any response that they want to that. So it's going to take a little time, but there is a list of positions, and I have them on the website. So in order not to take too much longer, I'm going to ask you to look at the website for that information. And if any other information that you need or that we may be able to help you with, please call us. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Anderson, and I'm going to give you a brief summary of the benefit changes for 2012. But before I do that, I would like to talk about what Ms. Dunn was talking about, that you could contribute as much as you like. You can. Just remember that the university only matches 10%. And once you max out, say for instance, you can only put like $22,000 tax deferred in the 403B plan. Well, we do have another plan called the 457. So once you max out of that plan, you can go to the 457. And I also want you to remember that if the university puts in 5, you put in 1, we're still going to do our 5. You put in 2, we're still going to do our 5. 3, 5, 4, 5. It's just when you get to that 6, we're going to match 6 all the way up to 7, all the way up to 10. Okay? Now, I want to discuss the medical changes that occurred. The first thing that happened in January was that we have a nutritional counseling and weight management program in which it goes through Quad Choice, which is called Q-Care. So what you have to do, it is actually a weight loss program in which there's 4 steps. Tomorrow, Quad Choice will be here and they will explain it in detail, but that is available now. Also with the dental, you know how you normally get 2 cleanings per year? Now you can get 4 if you're pregnant, heart disease, or diabetes. The only thing about those 2 additional cleanings, you must contact Delta Dental yourself or either your physician. Also, we had an increase in the copay for a hospital. It went from $250 to $300. And last year we did not have an inpatient surgical service. It was 0 copay. Now it's $150. Okay. Also, I need for you to watch out, because remember in July we had a very, very large rate increase of 20%. The university did 20%, 10%, and the employee did the other 10%. The only thing about it is the University of Arkansas system, they started a program called your Modified Performance-Based Campus. So in other words, our increases, the amount that we pay for insurance, is going to depend upon our performance in our health plan. So we're not for sure if there's going to be any more increases. That's why we're trying to really put an emphasis on wellness. And they will be here tomorrow also. We will have open enrollment again beginning in November, and it will go for 30 days. We'll have open enrollment for medical, dental, and vision. And you will be able to add or drop someone from either one of those. And your flexible spending accounts. You know, we do that every year, so you definitely have to enroll every year in your flexible spending account. If you have noticed, whenever we send that out with the open enrollment and all of that, you always get something that says Medicare and You. That's something that if employees are reaching the age of 65, you need to know how Medicare works while you're working at UAPB. What that credibility coverage is, once you turn the age 65, at least 3 months before 65, you will start receiving information in the mail, want to know if you want to get this type of insurance. What you need to do is automatically they're going to put you in A, but they want to know if you're going to go to B. If you are still employed with UAPB, you do not have to worry about B. But there is so much more information on that located in the human resource. We have a guide that says Medicare and you. So if you're close to age 65 and need to know about Medicare and the U of A plan, please stop by Human Resources. Also, we have a retirement planning workshop coming up in September. Fidelity will be here, TIA Craft will be here next in the spring. Also, APRAS, where Arkansas Personnel Employee Retirement, we have them. They come on campus to the participants that's in that. Now, beginning July of this year, we no longer participate in Arkansas Teacher Retirement. Okay? Now, next, I'd like to talk about the Wellness Day. That is tomorrow. So I really want you all to come prepared for information, very informative information, workout. So you all just be ready because Black and Gold Fit and Bold will be there. Thank you.
Let us give our Human Resources Office a round of applause for a wonderful presentation. Some of us like to pretend things don't exist, but we will retire if we live long enough.